Hello, my fantastic 439 students. Here's Dr. A with your week 5 rundown of expectations. Now, this week is one I'm really excited about because we're going to be talking about one of my favorite resources, tools, techniques, strategies that you have at your disposal as a teacher, and that's questioning. Now, questions are so powerful. We can use them to start conversations, to probe understanding, to assess, to drive instruction. So this week's lesson and module is all about questioning. So, first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to read a chapter out of this book right here, Instructional Strategies for Middle and High School. Same book that you read the chapter on interactive presentations out of. It is a good sized chapter, so take some time, read it, think about it, and I want to see evidence of you using what you've learned about as you move through this module. There are a couple of different tasks, assignments, a little bit of individual, a little bit of partner work, some reflecting, and I want to see evidence that you're reading, using, absorbing, and utilizing this book throughout. So, first thing you're going to do is to read that chapter. It's all about questioning as an instructional strategy. Then I'm going to ask you to watch a video on Bloom's taxonomy as a review. It's just a quick YouTube video, a couple of minutes highlighting the different levels of Bloom's and some of the ideas around it. So after you've done that, there's two parts of this week's module that I want you to do. The first part is taking this idea of direct instruction and we're going to totally modify it to focus on questioning. So, purposeful questioning is one of the greatest tools you can use, and it's something that we too often take for granted. So this week is all about practicing coming up with good questions. How I want you to do that. I want you to take the topic that you used for last week's module, that interactive presentation that you created, and I want you to develop a list of 30, well, at least 30 different questions you could ask to engage your students if you were teaching that topic during a live class session. Now, I want you to keep in mind that this would fundamentally shift your lesson away from the interactive presentation. So I don't want you to just try to force questions into that particular topic or that presentation. We're using a different instructional strategy. So don't necessarily force it. This is a new instructional strategy, so I want you to feel comfortable with the topic, but if you want to change topics completely, you are welcome to do that. That whole, think of anything but a pink elephant scenario where all you're thinking about is a pink elephant right now. If you want to switch topics to try to get a fresh start, you're welcome to pick a different Missouri Learning Standard. Or maybe your previous topic just doesn't lend itself to this new instructional strategy. And remember, your content, your goals, your objectives should always drive the instructional strategy. And some things just don't fit. So I want you to be very thoughtful, and I want you to come up with these really good questions. Now, these questions I want you to come up with should represent different levels of Bloom's taxonomy. I don't want straight recall questions. Those are easy to come up with. Where's the challenge? Where's the practice? I want you to come up with 30 good quality questions at a variety of different levels that you could use to engage your students. Once you come up with these questions, I actually want you to identify what level of Bloom's it would go with by putting the Bloom's level in parentheses after the question. And you can use that review on the video to help. I want you to consider the student responses to the questions you would ask. So it's important to think, okay, I'm going to ask this question. How might my students respond? That might allow you to come up with new questions and think of a whole chain of questions that you could use in a discussion. Generic questions like, what do you mean by that? Don't count. If it's a question that could be applied to any general lesson outside of your specific topic, get rid of it. It doesn't matter. I want good, thoughtful, engaging questions as you're coming up with this. Now, this is 30 questions for a single topic, a single lesson, and I would absolutely not expect you to answer or ask all 30 of these questions in one class period. That's just not really capable of happening. And if you were to ask 30 questions in a single class, I would anticipate that too many of those are lower level. So we want a nice variety here. So here's the thing. If you're not going to use 30 questions in one lesson, why am I asking you to come up with at least 30 questions? Because you need to always prepare more questions than you could possibly use. We overplan in our lessons. Now, later in your career, you might be able to be really good at developing questions on the fly and coming up with great questions to engage and follow-up questions, but you're not there yet. That's why we lesson plan. That's why we prepare these questions. You just haven't developed those skills yet. But that's where part 2 of this week's module comes in. Part 2 is a partner activity. So what I want you to do with part 2 is actually teach a topic through questions. And I'm going to really push this to the extreme to challenge you, because great challenges often result in great learning opportunities. So what do I mean by teach through questions? Well, for 10 minutes, you are going to try to teach your student, your partner, about a topic of your choice using only questions. You're not allowed to make any statements. You can only ask good, thoughtful questions. So for 10 minutes, nothing but questions. And remember, teaching involves like pre-assessment, instruction, advancing the learning, and then some assessment on the back end. So what you're going to do is you're going to ask really good questions. And when I say good questions, I mean thinking through some good questions. You can't just make a statement and then say right at the end and think that counts as a question. That's not it. So you're going to prepare this little activity to advance a student's, your partner's learning on this topic. You're welcome to create images. You can say, like, check this out. Well, what do you think this means? Or what do you think this part indicates? Things like that. I'm actually going to do this activity myself and post a sample video if you'd like to watch. And I'm kind of excited about it because I want to be able to demonstrate this for you. It won't be 10 minutes because I don't think you want to watch all 10 minutes, but you'll get the idea from this activity. So for 10 minutes, asking nothing but questions, and then you're going to switch. So your partner then becomes the instructor and you're the student, and they'll have their opportunity to engage you and to ask questions for 10 minutes. After you do this, there's going to be a reflection component. So I want you to make sure that you record this session. I'm assuming most of you are going to do this virtually. There's a couple of different ways you can record this. You could do, if you're using your laptop or your device, you could do Skype or FaceTime and just download QuickTime Player because it's a free way to record your screen. iPhones actually have a built-in way to record your screen if you want to do it that way. You can Google that or ask me about it. Or you're welcome to reach out to me and I can set up a Zoom session for you if you'd like, for you and your partner, and we can schedule something and that could record it. Because I want you to have this recording so you can reflect on this whole experience. Afterwards, this reflection, there's going to be 2 parts to it. Part 1 is about you as the teacher. So I'm going to ask you a couple of prompts. They're posted on Blackboard. What did you learn from it? Why were some questions more effective? Different things like that. The other part of your reflection, a separate part of your reflection, is going to be an analysis of the learner. So I'm going to ask you to reflect on, well, what did they know going into it? What did they understand? What did they struggle with? What could you do now to help them advance their thinking even more? So it's just kind of practice on taking a learning experience, reflecting on it, and thinking about how to advance learning. So this was a lot. The recording part of this does present an opportunity for problem solving. If you get hung up on any of the technical things, feel free to reach out to me, but use those problem solving skills. Figure things out. For the partner activity, I always say this at the end because you're going to get used to it. As soon as you say partner activity, students start looking around like, oh, you want to work with me? I want to work with you. And they completely ignore what you were going to say. So I always hold off the assignment part to the end. For this assignment, the partners, you get to pick. If you know somebody in the class, you're welcome to reach out to them and arrange that, and then post that on the discussion board no later than Monday night. I want these scheduled so you have all of next week to, and by next week I mean the week of the 14th, to do these presentations, because this is all due by Friday the 18th at 11:59 p.m. per usual. So go into Blackboard. You can see who's enrolled in the course. You can reach out to them using email. If you're really struggling, go to the discussion board and say, hey, this is me. I need a partner who wants to work with me or who doesn't have a partner. Match up, find a time that works for the two of you this week to do your session and record it. And giving yourself enough time to reflect on it. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'm really excited about this whole experience. Just to clarify, you do not need to send me the recording of your interaction with your partner. I'm just looking for you to complete that, to do it, and then reflect on it. The reflection will get submitted to me along with that list of those 30 questions and their associated Bloom levels. Good luck, have fun. Don't forget to read this. I'm really expecting to see evidence of your thinking and utilization of this great text. Don't delay, get all of those sessions scheduled and partners posted on the Blackboard discussion board by Monday evening. Have a fantastic week. Talk to you later.